All right, we're going to call to order the regular meeting of the City Commission. The regular meeting of the City Commission for Tuesday, September the 13th will come to order. If you would, please silence your cell phone. City Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Mayor Owen.
Here.
Vice Mayor McGurk.
Here.
Commissioner Colodi.
Present.
Commissioner Sacks.
Here.
And Commissioner Hartman is excused, absent. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to begin, as always, with the invocation, followed by the pledge. Police Department Chaplain Pete Carter will lead us in the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Join us in standing.
Let us pray. Most holy and gracious and kind God, we come before you on this day, thanking you for another opportunity to come together and discuss those things that would make our city better. We ask that you continue to bless our city, bless all of those that reside here, bless those who serve, bless those who will now come into service. Continue to give them wisdom, give them a better understanding and knowledge of all those things that they can do and say that would help make this place a better place to live. And we shall forever bless thee. In your matchless name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Before we dive in, I want to acknowledge tonight we have someone that transitioned from candidate to being mayor-elect. And that'll be the person that follows me in this middle seat, and that is Mr. Fred Cleveland is here with us tonight. Mayor-elect Fred Cleveland, congratulations. I was astounded, yeah. I hope that, and I believe that the commission and the community and the staff and the team will embrace you and treat you as they have me, and I know they will, and I know you'll be as proud to serve as I am. And you know, a lot of good things ahead, a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities, and I can't think of a better person to lead the city. I want to say though to all those that ran in that race and those that are still running in other races and were running in other races, it's a very honorable thing, and I think the way that mayor's race was run was certainly a testament, I think, to all three of the candidates involved, done with dignity, respect, professionalism by all involved, and is probably an example that I hope can be followed by others, not only in that race, but many others. So anyway, look forward to working with you in the coming months as we try, or I don't know how many months we have. I don't know if there's an S on that yet or not. So I guess month and a little bit. So Colin, any changes to the agenda?
No changes, sir.
Okay, we have a couple of presentations by some of our partners at Team Volusia. Chris, I think you're going to introduce those folks.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Tonight we have with us Keith Norton, our President and CEO of the Team Volusia Economic Development Corporation. As you know, Team Volusia is our lead economic development organization for the county. And tonight, Keith is here to provide a brief overview of some of the activities. As you can recall, they've been very successful in helping New Smyrna Beach. Obviously, we landed Bahio, wonderful manufacturer out there on Tionia. And of course, Wire 3 is continuing to expand its business here as of this year in New Smyrna Beach. So we look forward to more of the same. And this presentation should give you an overview of some of the activities that are taking place in New Smyrna Beach area, but also the region as a whole that Team Volusia is adamantly working on. I know recently they have formed, working on a real estate task force and some other great projects that I and other practitioners from around the county are continuing to work with them on, which will be beneficial to our area. So without further ado, Mr. Norton.
All right, Keith.
Thank you so much, and I'm delighted to be able to update the commission this year. As many of you know, New Smyrna Beach is a founding investor, a founding public investor in Team Volusia, and we certainly appreciate the work that we do with you and with your team, from the city manager to you, Mayor, and also Mr. Edwards. Where should I point?
Should just be right there at the laptop.
I thought I should, but I can just do the 4. Can I just do that?
You can,
Yeah, that's better.
here, let me pick up for you.
Okay.
Where is it? Chris? Which one?
There we go.
Just as a reminder, we're a public-private partnership. The public sector, municipalities, and the county provide 44% of our funding, with 5% from our institutions of higher learning and 51% from the private sector. This is a chart just showing our historic investment from the private sector, public sector, and institutions of higher learning. And you can see the municipalities, 14 municipalities provide 22% of our funding, the county 22% of our funding, and then most of it comes from the private sector. And I've left an annual report for all of you to review at your convenience later. This is what we're very proud of. These are some of the private sector investors that we have. And just as a reminder, the private sector leverages the government funding. So government funding pays for our salaries and some rent, and the rest is, every bit of the program is paid for by the private sector. Recruitment, studies, telephone, everything that we do is paid for by the private sector, with the exception of our operations, which is paid for by the government sector. Very proud of our officers. We have our county manager as an officer, and then several other private sector individuals, plus Dr. Charles Duva, a well-known businessman with ties to New Smyrna Beach. This is just an update of our staff. We've had some great changes and a lot of talent come on board. And we've also had very prominent guest speakers at our board meetings, including the Consul General of Japan, Mr. Nakai, Sam Blatt. He's the Southeast Regional Director of Amazon. He's the gentleman we worked on several projects with. And then, very, very proud, in August, we had the Senior Vice President of International Trade and Investment for Enterprise Florida. This is just a reminder, our 2022 activity update. You contract us to do your outreach recruitment. We do your business marketing. And then, of course, we have competitive intelligence research that we use on all of our projects, and then, of course, community assistance, and we've worked well with our different municipalities. Just a snapshot of our pipeline, we have about 100 projects. The projects that are more serious are Stage 5, which have been announced. Stage 4, all these projects are in negotiation. Right now, we have 5 projects that are pending official announcement. We're working with the companies. And of course, as a reminder, Stage 3, these companies have visited more than once, sometimes 2 and 3. As a reminder, too, we do not pay travel costs. We do not fly people in. We do not pay for their hotels. We want there to be skin in the game so that we know that they're serious about our area. Just 2 of the projects that we have announced. Ocelot is a project that's aviation related, came from Brazil, and has opened initial offices. And what we're seeing is the international companies may open at the Microplex or at the UCF incubator, but they usually grow and expand, and we want them to. They came in from Brazil because of the location of Volusia County being so close to the Space Coast and Embry-Riddle. And of course, I wanted to compliment the city, all of you, for welcoming Wire 3. That was a wonderful recruitment on your part, and the red carpet was rolled out on behalf of the chamber as well as the city. So I appreciate that. These are metrics. We are metriced every month, but this is just a snapshot of the last 6 months. 209 outreach meetings. These are meetings that are pre-scheduled and pre-planned where we actually sit and discuss Volusia County and the areas, all of the different areas of Volusia County. We had 19 site visits and 26 outreach events. And this is just a slide of our outreach. A couple of things of note, knowing your interest in aviation, aerospace, and higher paid wages. We attended Aircraft Expo Interiors in Hamburg. We were the only Florida county to attend, one of the few EDOs to attend. The excellent thing about Aircraft Interiors is they are exhibitors that manufacture everything in the interior of a plane. So those type companies could be anywhere in the county. We also went to Farnborough with the Lieutenant Governor leading the group with Space Florida, with FPL, as well as others. And then something of note, the Southeast U.S.-Japan, Japan-U.S. Southeast joint meeting is coming to Florida after 16 years. We have about 200 Japanese executives coming to Orlando with delegates from 6 other southeastern states. Florida last hosted this in 2006 under Governor Bush, and Governor DeSantis will be the chair of this meeting. It's a great way to highlight Central Florida, and we are actually having one of the events is a group of people coming over to the Daytona International Speedway for one of the optional tours. Evolve, and of course we are highlighting in Evolve. We sponsor that. We are highlighting one of your industries there. And also in Add and Evolve, we've highlighted Southeast Volusia, as you can see in the center. We also have a monthly newsletter, and we highlight things that are interesting for our different areas of the county. We also publish Livability. That is a talent recruitment piece where, of course, Southeast Volusia is highlighted. And, of course, you can see the 3 different volumes from every year there. And then this year, we have been traveling around because we do have some new staff. We've been traveling around to all of our municipalities, and this is just a slide of the different tours. We've been to every municipality except Ormond Beach, and that is due to occur very shortly. And then I'm available to answer any questions you might have. Again, we appreciate your continued engagement and investment in Team Volusia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith. Gentlemen, we have later in the agenda, item 6K is the renewal of the contract. That's one reason why this presentation is happening now. So I'd encourage you, if you have any comments or questions on 6K, now is probably the best time to address them because we have Keith and all the staff here for us. So with that, I'll open it up. Any questions or comments for Keith on the presentation? Commissioner Clody.
Well, with our overall population environment and people flocking to Florida for whatever reason, it's good to have an organization such as yours that can look for quality investment to provide jobs for them, to really bring in, I hate to use the word quality people, but people who are good at filling those positions. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Just like to echo the same. Good
Thank-
seeing you.
Good seeing you
Great
again.
job. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right, Keith, thank you very much. Always a
Thank you
pleasure to
again.
see you. Look forward to working with you in the future in whatever capacity that looks like. But the City of New Smyrna Beach, I believe, will continue to be a partner in Team Volusia, and a lot of good opportunity there. So,
Thank you so much, Mayor.
thanks.
Thank you
Thanks,
all.
Keith.
All right, Mayor, tonight, just want to give you a brief overview. The Volusia County Economic Development Office, in partnership with many of the Volusia County municipalities such as us and Edgewater and Oak Hill and others around the county, along with chambers from various aspects of the county, have met over the course of a year. And this is response to a survey, a small business survey that was conducted across the entire county, where businesses resoundingly were requesting some form of centralized online place where they could go and find resources for their day-to-day business needs, regardless of the stage of the company, size of the company. That was a resounding, consistent call for that. And we live in a wonderful county that a lot of the cities got together. A lot of our partners got together on a monthly basis, and even more so online and through other platforms to think of ideas and strategies in which we could try to create this kind of centralized online presence. And what you have is VolusiaBusinessResources.com that came out of that. And it's a fantastic website. It's a great launch pad, a catalyst, if you will, for as many different needs that you can see there that you can range in your mind, mentoring and counseling that businesses need, market research, financial coaching, all of the above. There are so many complex issues that most business owners deal with that they don't have the time to sift through this resource, that resource. And so this was a way for us to try to think of what a business needs from A to Z as much as we possibly could, and we certainly will continue to build upon this particular website. But this is the landing page that you'll go to if you go to VolusiaBusinessResources.com. It has a QR code. Obviously, you can use your mobile device, scan that, and check it out and look for information there, and it can navigate you through the site. And we tried to make the site something that would be simplistic and less time-consuming for businesses, because obviously time is money in the business world. And certainly it's not just serving businesses who are doing business-to-consumer transactions, but also business-to-business transactions as well. So these are some of the various different hyperlinks and things of that nature, as we have already integrated this onto our city's website. Other partners, as affiliated partners, you can see the gold seal there. New Smyrna Beach is an affiliated partner. Our contact information is on there. This builds upon what we already have done as a city as far as trying to make our process even more simplistic for local businesses. With Phil's fantastic video, if you recall, the How to Start Your Business in New Smyrna Beach video that actually was well received even in these meetings and discussions about what we could do to make things more visually simplistic and more digitally simplistic. And of course, there's other banners and things of that nature that you'll see going around, and that is the brand. It's not just a website; it's a brand that all cities and the partners that are affiliated with this particular initiative that started with Volusia County Economic Development are continuing to integrate throughout the county. So we're going to have a launch week coming up, I believe, next month. It's going to be a great time for us to kind of continue to promote this to the business community so that there's more awareness about it. So we are already doing that. I know that we've already posted internally on our social media sites and platforms for the city. So it is something that we're continuing to promote. And of course, the hashtag, thing that we're doing as well is something that's ongoing as well. So that's pretty much what I want to kind of introduce to the commission tonight. This is something that other cities are going to be doing, other communities, other partners to their respective leadership and also to their organization so that we can get the word out. Businesses can get the assistance that they need as it relates to resources, and obviously our economic trajectory can be even better than it is now.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I was going to say, any questions or comments from the commission on this?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I got one, Chris.
Yes, sir.
If you had your druthers, I see it says Volusia Business Resources powered by the Economic Development Association. If it were up to you, what would you target, business or workforce or any one of the choices that we have? Is there any opportunity that you see might be having a foot in the door?
I think, honestly, with are you relating to the local businesses, who will we target? This site is for any stage business, any size business. So it's not just your big industry, your big company. This is for small businesses, startups. Those are the targeted groups.
So we're looking for any opportunity?
Yes, yes.
Thanks.
So, Chris, I was going to say, I think this is a great additional layer. You know, we're trying to create that. We as a city have been trying to do it for a while. And one of the biggest complaints that I heard from small businesses in our city is, and by the way, I heard it from students at the university I was at as well. We called it the riddle runaround. I mean, every organization deals with this. Every private business deals with it as well as a government business of, you know, how do you get the answer to your question? How do you get that one answer to the you know, the question you're looking for? We tried to, or I think we did create the one-stop shop, you know, where somebody in theory could call and they weren't having to then call the UC and call a bunch of other places. I think this is heading down a really good path. One feedback I just said here for a second on the website while you're presenting is, you know, again, the most common question I get is they say, hey, I'm wanting to start a business. You know, I don't know where to start. So I click start on the website. You're familiar with it. And then I clicked licensing and permitting and zoning, I think it was. Licensing and zoning and one other, I think. And I click submit, and then it basically just says, okay, here's Daytona Beach, here's Daytona Beach Shores, and it just kind of gives you a list of cities. We should just have a filter at the top that says, what city are you in, or where are you wanting to open? That way they're not having to present every possible organization. We can filter it down a little bit. So I'll spend some more time with this and maybe shoot you some more feedback, but I think this is a great, we're pushing in all the right directions. I'm glad to see that more organizations are acknowledging that it is tough sometimes as a small business owner, and they don't have time to spend all day on the phone calling 48 different departments being told, yeah, it's not my job. I don't know who to call, but it's not not me. You know, so I'm glad we're really pushing hard in that direction. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. If nothing else, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
That is it for our economic presentations tonight. Before we begin with the rest of the agenda, as always, we'd like to hear from the public and what may be on their heart and mind. So we're going to open it up to public participation. This is your chance to address the commission. As always, you have 3 minutes. We ask to be respectful of your neighbors and us up here and abide by the 3 minutes. This is your chance to speak. If you're here for any item on the consent agenda, now is your chance to speak. Or under 7A, the administrative new business item, this is your chance. Second readings and public hearings, you have a chance to speak specific to that item during that public hearing. So you don't have to speak now for those, but for anything else on the agenda or anything else on your mind, even if it's not on the agenda, now is your time to speak. We ask you to just come forward and give your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I'm Pam Eisen, 624 North Riverside Drive. I'm here tonight as a representative of the Southeast Volusia Chamber and as the 2024 incoming president. We kick off our leadership program tomorrow with a nice reception, and thank you so much to the city for funding 4 positions on that class from the employees from the city of New Smyrna Beach. So thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing Sharon.
Thank you. Gentlemen, I'll mention it while I'm thinking of it. I may be a little bit late because I'm supposed to speak at that, and it starts at the same time as our meeting tomorrow night. So I'm going to...
I might be a few minutes late, too.
All right, well, so if you're coming for the meeting tomorrow night, you may start a little late. Yes, Jess, come on up. Let me restart your timer.
My name's Jess Romero, 708 South Cooper Street. I've come here for about 6 months now and listened to you guys talk about all kinds of issues we have here, which is great. I noticed most of you, I say some of you, wax and wane about we're paying for our father's sins, 2008, things were signed, we weren't here, and all that kind of stuff. It's great. Now we're in 2022. I want to know what changes have you made to these MDAs, PUDs, and CRAs? What have you, as a commission, have told staff, don't use these words like perpetuity, that's in one of those MDAs there, and those kind of things. How many amendments can you have to these contracts here? How long can you wait for a contract? Is it 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Because in 6 to 8 months to a year, we're going to go back to 2008 again, or 1970. We don't know. The economy is going to go a little bit sour here, as we stand today. So, as I see where does the gentleman go to? Left. The Economic Development Council, it's great. Business is coming in. But where are they going to live? They're going to come to you for housing. The property out west and southwest of here is going to explode with housing. How you develop that and how you do it, something that you have to think about now. For the next 5 or 10 years, they're going to go, we can't do this anymore. Because the things that you learn as you're sitting here today and in the past about the past MDAs and your PUDs, what have you changed? So you don't make mistakes again. I'd like to get an answer if I can, somehow, someday. My address is 708 South Cooper Street. Thank you.
Jess, I'm happy to have that conversation with you at some point, so we can chat. If you stick around the whole time, I'll tell you something. Any others for public participation? All right, seeing none, we will close public participation. Yeah, we've certainly done a lot, and it's a valid question. I got 4 years worth to catch you up on. You've been coming for 6 months, so I guess three and a half years to catch you up on. But we've done a lot of those things. I can't say we've done it all, but we've done a lot. Consent agenda, 14 items. Does any member of the commission wish to pull any item from the consent agenda? We'll begin with you, Commissioner Colodi.
Comment on 6B.
B is in boy?
B is in boy.
Bravo. It'll be more military. Go ahead with your comment, if you just want to make a comment.
We are raising the rates we have to pay to Waste Pro, which eventually gets into our budget, which then gets into everybody's pocketbook. These are rate increases that are in the contract. Luckily, there's a cap. They are less than what the inflation has been. I hate approving increases, but in this particular case, it's a necessity. 6G?
For comment?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
We're spending about $91,000 to improve our control over our fuel consumption at the golf course and at the sports center. Money that'll be well spent, and we can control what's going on. And the basic comment I have, we raised the fees in the golf course, which is a user fee, which is fine. And that raising of that fee has helped the golf course to be profitable, so to speak. So this money that we're allocating here under 6G has basically been paid for the users who are using the property. Just once again, it's a good idea.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, so no items to pull, just a couple of comments. Commissioner Sacks, any items to pull or any comments? All right, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, just a comment on 6M Canal Street Nights.
Go ahead.
So I had a few people give me their opinion about it over the past 6 months, and some were favorable, some not. Went by, I visited one maybe about a month or two ago, and I was a little surprised by what I saw for two reasons. One is I thought we were trying to wind down food trucks. I'm not saying I want to, I just thought that's kind of where we were headed. There seemed to be some consensus there from the community. Maybe I misunderstood. So I see that there's food trucks involved in this. And so at a future date, maybe just some kind of discussion. I know the reason I'm not pulling it, I just want to make a comment. I'm going to reach out to Elizabeth and Richard and talk with them about what's going on with it. My understanding of this event was that the businesses who are on Canal Street were going to kind of spill out into the street a little bit, particularly the restaurants, kind of rope an area off, and to drum up business related to COVID and a few other things. But when I went, I didn't see any of that. There were no businesses that spilled out. None of the restaurants were out in the sidewalk, kind of like a sidewalk cafe. There were a lot, it seemed to me, of tents set up by quasi-businesses, definitely not from Canal Street. So I don't know if I just had a misunderstanding, or maybe when I walked down, I misinterpreted it. I did see 3 or 4 tents selling CBD stuff, you know, kind of like pot leaves with black light posters, you know, kind of like things you know, look back to when I was a teenager. And I was a little surprised by the lack of existing businesses promoting their businesses and more of people coming in. Now, so anyway, I just wanted to make that point, bring that up. Maybe I misunderstood how that was supposed to be set up. But I will reach out. No, not at this time. I just want to, you know, make a comment on it. And what was perceived, what my understanding was, and what I saw when I went out there. So,
Yeah.
and food trucks again, there's something that comes up, and so we need some resolution on that. Either we are going to continue or we're not. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's get through consent, and then we'll come back to the food truck thing, actually, because I agree with you. And Colin, you and I talked about it the last time, and I can't remember where we left it. Actually, just go ahead. Where do we leave that?
I think we talked about this 2 meetings ago, that you mentioned about the
Yeah.
food trucks. But in the meantime, talking to our leisure services director about the food trucks, he mentioned that the Canal Street merchants, they approached him that they wanted to have food trucks on Canal Street. So,
Okay.
so I'm getting kind of like
And I think the last time, when I brought it up, I think that was where we left it, was that we were gonna talk to them, because my impression was if I had a Canal Street restaurant, I would say, hey, don't bring a food truck at the end of my street. You know, bring an event here to bring a body here, but don't bring a food truck with it, because I wanna sell my food but I brought it up. Nobody on Canal Street came to me and brought that up. So if that's not being brought up by them, I mean, that's where my head is, but I don't run a business on Canal Street. So if that's, I maybe, and obviously am, probably wrong on that regard, so.
Yeah, and for Richard and Elizabeth, the reason I just bring this up is because we don't necessarily, we're never in a spot where we can communicate. We also have to worry about sunshine. So that's just why I brought this up and didn't pull it, and why to you it may be a surprise that out of the blue I'm bringing this up. It's just the proper forum for me to communicate to my fellow commissioners and staff. Yeah, right.
All right. So, but I agree with everything else you said. I mean, I plan on approving it tonight because I want to do whatever the street wants. I want to support it, but I agree with you. The vision, I think this idea was born during, you know, kind of the coming out of COVID period. And so the vision at the time was perhaps different. But again, we want to support the street. So however you are crafting it, I'm sure we'll be fine. So, all right, we had no items pulled. So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Items 6A through 6N, that should be 14 items.
So move.
Second.
City Clerk?
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Colodi?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
And Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Consent agenda is approved. If you're here for any consent agenda items, your item has been approved. Item 7A, approval of salary adjustment for city attorneys, city clerk, and city manager. We have our HR director, Heather Kidd, here for a presentation on that.
Good evening, everyone. I'm coming back to you this evening after we spoke at our all-day budget meeting. We brought up the issue of the city manager, city attorney, and city clerk pay during that time, and you asked me to bring you back some more information. The biggest piece of change that I have is not a lot, to be honest. We went through, I did verify one more time with all of our local governments where our expected salaries for those 3 people in other cities are. We're at about the same range. There were no major changes that I was able to see going forward. So I'll just reiterate, which is in my report for you, but I'll just reiterate, you know, some of the details that we found and what our recommendations were from staff. So our city manager currently, the original pay grade that we had for the city manager was $116,518 to $186,429. The pay grade that we've recommended with our change, with our compression that we're dealing with this year, is going to be $134,845 to $215,751. Currently, our city manager's salary is $158,908. Our compression adjustment that we did for the rest of the city that we're looking at, if we followed that and we stayed within that pay grade that we've set for the city manager position, our city manager's salary would go to $163,676. In Volusia County, with all the cities that responded to my survey, the range that we're looking at for the city manager is $150,000 to $275,000. If we stick with our compression calculation for our city manager, that ranks our pay for city managers in the county 11th out of 14. The average for the city managers across Volusia County is going to be $177,067. We've talked about a lot of times we do compare ourselves to Ormond. They're the closest in population to us. They're the closest in staffing to us. That's usually the area that we look at. We run our cities very similarly, other than we don't have utilities here in our city. But the Ormond city manager will be making $199,845 in the new fiscal year. And the next one after that is DeBerry, who will be making $183,600. So what we're advising for the city manager is that we increase the salary to $185,000. If we do that, that will rank us third out of the 14 cities that we have in our county. Do you want to talk about the city manager, or you want me to go through all three of them before we move on?
Just go through all three of them, I
Okay.
think, and we'll come back.
All right. For the city attorney position, we looked at all of the same information. So our original pay grade for our city attorney was $109,922 to $175,876. The pay grade that we would move it into would be the $134,844 to $215,751. When we do the compression study on that pay grade and the years of service for our city attorney, the current salary is $151,410. The city attorney would receive a 3% compression adjustment, bringing that salary to $155,952. The range in Volusia County is a little bit different because there are only 5 who employ city attorneys. Everyone else contracts, so it's a lot less people for us to look at. But the range in Volusia County is $141,750 to $261,885. I'm sorry, $261,000 to $855. We are recommending that I'm sorry, I skipped a line. I'm so sorry. That puts us 4th out of the 5 cities that employ city attorneys in Volusia County. The average for city attorneys in Volusia County is $192,802. Again, we compare ourselves to Ormond a lot of times. Like we said, we have the same population, we serve about the same number of employees and serve about the same number of items that we're looking at. The city attorney in Ormond Beach will be making $182,686 in the new fiscal year. So we're recommending for the city attorney that we increase the salary to $179,000. That would still keep us 4th out of the 5 ranking, but I think it would bring us a little more in line with what the rest of our county is doing, especially when we're looking at the market and where we're at. And should we have to make any changes and have to recruit, we'd be looking at something in that range to be able to employ. And then our city clerk position, the original pay grade that we had for our city clerk was $68,966 to $110,347. With the compression study and looking at the other cities in our county, we increased that pay grade to $95,831 to $153,330. Our city clerk currently makes $76,693. And with our compression study and the increase in the pay grade, it would bring up that salary to $97,988. That would be looking at compression with the years of service within that new pay grade. Just to give you the same background, Volusia County range for city clerks is $64,667 to $135,620. With the change that we're already making and the salary adjustment that we've suggested for the city clerk, that ranks us 5th out of the 13 that provided a salary range to me. We feel that this is acceptable at this time. Again, comparing us to Ormond, our next closest city, their city clerk in 2023 budget will be making $103,584. So we feel that at this time, there's no other additional increases that we would put onto the city clerk position, because our pay grade structure and how we changed that made that bring us within the market value that we needed for there. One of the other items that the commission had asked me to look at was the certifications. It was very difficult to find that information for our city manager and our city attorney, because every city looks at something just a little different. Most of them don't have an actual job description that I could compare anything to. So it was difficult for me to get that information. I really could only look at salaries for that. On the city clerk, I was able to get job descriptions for 4 of the cities, and most of them require about the same things that we do. There is just some slight differences in the years of service and the information that's there. All but one of them require their city clerk to receive their CMC, the certified, I knew I was going to forget the name. It's the certified municipal clerk. I apologize. And one other asked for some paralegal coursework, but nobody else had that within their requirements. Our city clerk has achieved that certification, and so that's why we felt like the change to the pay grade that we made was more than adequate to get our levels to that correct place. So
Okay.
that's your information that I have for you. I can answer any questions that I can for you.
All right, so just real quick in summary, she covered all 3 of the employees that report to the commission, the manager, the attorney, and the clerk. The clerk stuff has already been handled. That is in motion as a part of all of the other compensation changes that we had made with the banding and the compression adjustments, et cetera. So we're really, unless called for by this body, we're not taking any action on that tonight. That was just all information. But that explains why when this was first brought up, we were really just talking about the 2 positions and not all 3. Heather and I had this conversation, and we were comfortable that the clerk had already been kind of addressed. So we didn't forget about Kelly. We'll never do that. But we had already addressed that kind of in a different avenue, just with how that banding worked out. So what's before us tonight is proposed adjustment to city attorney and city manager salary. I think our HR directors laid it out well. My thought on this, and I've said this from the very beginning, you know, in almost my entire professional career, because I've worked in finance, I've had access, you know, there's 2 people in an organization that have access to payroll data, and that's the finance folks and the HR folks. And so I've always known what salaries were, and I can tell you from my experience, in my role now, I see salaries of many different organizations of all shapes and sizes. We have roughly, I'm going to ballpark some numbers, 300 employees, give or take a few, $100 million budget roughly, 30,000 stakeholders at any given moment that wants a piece of our city manager and city attorney. They work for 5 independent bosses that change every 2 years. You know, you couldn't pay me double what they make to do some of these jobs, I'll just tell you. So I don't think they're overpaid. These are big numbers. I mean, I get it to someone that, you know, if you're not used to seeing these numbers, that's big money. But in the context of what they're responsible for and the oversight they're responsible for in the job market as it is, it's really actually not. Now, there's other, you know, there's other things to consider, but and the last thing I was going to point out, Colin, I believe you are, of the city managers, has anyone been with their city longer? I know you haven't been city manager the whole time, but you've been with the city now 30 plus years.
33 years. 33
years, set to retire soon from the city. I don't think anyone else of all the folks we just talked through has been with their city for 33 years. One thing that happens when an employee is loyal in an organization, and it's kind of known now that my generation, the millennial generation, is getting a bad rap because we change jobs. We just learned the secret, and that is you make more money when you change jobs. You get penalized for staying at a job for a long time. So I don't want to have something like that happen, where the minute that he walks out the door, we're in the market and we're paying somebody way more than we were paying him. That's not fair to me, and I just don't think that's how the system should work. So I fully support this, and I hope my colleagues do as well. With that, I'll open it up. Any other comments on this item? Commissioner Clody.
Do we fund the actual salary in our budget, or do we fund the maximum in the range?
We fund the actual salary.
Okay, so if we were replacing it with somebody higher up in the salary range, we'd have to basically alter our budget for that.
Yes.
I have no problem with the raises that are proposed. I'm glad to see the methodology was applied equally to all three employees. I think they all deserve it. The only reservation I have has to do with the city clerk.
Okay.
I know she was hired without the certification that she has now, but with the expectation that she get it. She did. I think that warrants what I would consider a merit increase. So I think it should be slightly higher. I also am very familiar with the clerk who was here previously. And I know what a mess that was. And he left. He was helped out. And our clerk corrected all of those problems, as far as I know. And I think there should be some reward for that. That's my thought.
Yeah, well said. Remind me, what is current salary today for clerk?
Current salary for the clerk today is $76,693.
And after the adjustments, it will be?
$97,988. And it's a 27.76% increase.
That feels like an increase to me.
It is.
I mean,
Well warranted.
Yeah, so I'm comfortable with that, I guess. I don't, that's the number that she came up with, and based on all the other stuff we did. So I wouldn't think we need to do anything in addition to that at this time. But I think everything else you said, 100% agree with. She's done a fantastic job, and she walked into a mess. So any other comments on this item?
Yeah, my last comments in general is obviously we're going to have to find the funds for this in the budget, which we don't have at this point. And as we all know, that's a big, important step that we have to have.
Yes,
So we have a budget hearing coming up, and I expect to have an answer as to where these funds are coming from.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
I want to echo the same sentiments. Both of you, I don't need to add anything more than what you two have said. I definitely agree. The idea of penalizing people because they work for you for an extended period of time, the whole corporate environment, you need to get more pay by getting a new job somewhere, and then when someone leaves, we end up giving that new person that we need to bring in. It's a vicious circle, doesn't make a lot of sense. I think that the city manager, the city attorney, and the city clerk have all done amazing jobs, and as Commissioner Colodi said, worked with previous people in these positions, and I could tell you that I have never worked with a finer group of these three in the time that I've spent on this dais. So I absolutely 100% support these raises.
Anything to add, Commissioner Sykes?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Regardless of the quantity or quality of our charter contracted workers, I do have some problems. Hopefully they can be worked out. Since we do not know what the final millage rate will be, I wonder if we should, and I'll recommend that we postpone it till October. So that way we'll know what the millage is, and we can figure in approximately over $100,000 in raises, which, even though it's not a tremendous surprise, it would kind of hit me when I realized that we have this now, an added expense. And of course, they deserve that. But I was wondering to make that blow a little softer for the taxpayer and the city itself, and it would induce our charter contract workers to stay longer. I think it would be a good incentive would be to break it up in a yearly amount, 1/3 of what we agreed to pay them for each year for the next 3 fiscal years. So, catch my drift?
Yeah.
We'll just
no,
divide it
it's-
up into threes.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. I mean, I guess my concern with that, I don't disagree, and I like the leaning towards the longevity, incentive. I guess my concern is, and Heather, feel free to jump in, but I feel like my concern is similar to where we were with police especially, and maybe even fire, but definitely police is, we're already behind. I mean, you heard the data, we're already behind. In Khaled's case, retirement date is set, he's in drop. We're gonna be going to the market, so we can choose to put it in the budget now, or we can choose to put it in the budget when we go to the market, but I guarantee you we're not gonna get a city manager. I mean, we just saw what DeBerry did. And DeBerry is, the stats I gave for size and operation scale, it pales in comparison. I don't know all their numbers off the top of my head, but they feel much smaller than we are. And they just had to pay $183,600 to get their person. So normally I'd agree with you, and if we had been on top of this, and we were, I feel like I could agree, but in this case, I think we've got to act now, is my opinion.
Mayor, if I may, I agree with you completely. I think one of the things to think about, Commissioner Sachs, is that we have taken this year and we've looked at that compression, and part of increasing the salary for our city manager and our city attorney also allows us to work on that compression. As we have to hire new directors, and we have some directors who are preparing to be at that spot where they could retire on us anytime. Every bit that we move those numbers allows us to recruit more people. As Commissioner McGurk said, every time we have to hire someone, we have to bring in somebody at a higher level. That's just the way it works, unless we happen to get somebody right out of just learning to do the job and just coming into it. We always look for someone with experience. We look for somebody who has the background that we want to bring to them. And so allowing us to increase those position salaries would also allow us to not create compression as we go forward. We've worked really hard, as you know, this year on working on that compression across the board for everyone. And this would be one more step to allow us to not have compression so quickly within our city.
To put a really fine point on that, something we all just lived through is, I mean, we were trying to hire development services director, and one of the challenges was many of the well-qualified candidates for the type of skill that we want, that the five of us want, to answer the question that Jess asked us earlier of what have we done, what tangible changes can we point to in our code that we've cleaned up over the past 4 years. The caliber staff we need to do that, they made more than our city manager today. So we were stuck in a spot where we couldn't offer them as much as we needed to be able to offer them to get them in the door to serve the citizens of New Smyrna Beach, because we already had this upper bound sort of set. It's a whole other conversation, but this is kind of step one towards solving that. I've got some other ideas that I've shared, but this is kind of step one towards solving that. Is we've got to acknowledge that we've got to push this stuff up. So
I think one more point, Commissioner Sachs, if I can, is the idea of spreading it out over 3 years is not a horrible idea by any means, especially when we're talking about how it affects our budget. The issue that we will face with that is if we do that and we try to do that in a step increase almost, we don't know what the market's going to be. We don't know what's going to happen. And I'm going to probably come back next year with these are the ideas that we need to come up with on how to continue to pay our people, because the economy's not changing today. We see that as I watch those trends and I see what's happening. We all know our people are spending more money. Our people need to make more money. That's across the nation. That's not limited just to the city of New Smyrna Beach. And so if we spread that out, I worry that I'll just be coming back to you saying, I have to add a little more. I need to add a little more. And I think coming in, if we're able to this year and getting that in a one-time shot, would be much better budget preparation. I think Natalia would agree with me for later years.
yeah.
No, I agree with all your points, and they're well thought out. My other concern, though, Heather, was the fact that lower echelon workers did have to wait for their salaries to get up to that $15 wage hike. So I'm thinking we should apply the same to our charter employees, where it would be a good incentive for them to wait to get their salary increase in thirds. And that would make it more equitable.
I understand.
Yeah, and I would, and we'll move on in a minute. I would contend on that. Yes, on one side of the coin they had to wait, and another side of the coin we're ahead of when the state mandated we had to be at that minimum wage. So we actually have accelerated the timeline, and the reason we did it was the competitive landscape around us. We weren't able to hire workers because they were going to the places that already gotten there. That same competitive landscape applies to your white collar folks as well as your blue collar folks. And this is all we're trying to do is take care of both. And it's tough because, I mean, there's, you know, and what makes this even more tough is we do all this out in the open. In a typical corporate structure, you don't do that. But, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah. All right.
Quickly,
Go
just
ahead.
one more question, Heather, please. Salaries were not figured into their contracts. They never had, let's say, okay, you'll get free insurance is one benefit that you'll get, or you'll get a car allowance. But no one ever discussed salary increases or step raises or merit raises?
I think, city attorney, correct me on this, or Heather, I think it addresses it in saying that it's set at the time of the contract and then it will be adjusted by the commission in the future is kind of the phrase that's in there. Do you know, does anybody remember the exact phrase?
Actually, all three contracts state that they will receive the same salary increases that the rest of the non-bargaining employees receive unless there's another motion by the commission.
Yeah. All right, speaking of motions, do I have a motion on the salary adjustments for the attorney and the manager?
What can you, Heather, can you give me the exact amounts again? 185 for the city manager, was there any change on that?
That's the last number that we've recommended.
And what was the one for the city attorney?
179,000.
Okay. Now, the motion, if I make a motion, it's not going to include the clerk. That's already done, as my understanding. Okay.
That's my understanding, yes. Okay.
All right. Well, then I'm going to make a motion to increase the city manager's pay to $185,000 and the city attorney to $179,000.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I've had quite a bit of discussion. City clerk, if you'd call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor McGurk,
Yes.
Commissioner Colodi,
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks,
No.
Mayor Owen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, Carrie, and Khaled. Well deserved.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate the support. So I think it's more than the money, and I appreciate the three votes. And I'm really disappointed with Commissioner Sacks' vote. This is the second time. I have never spoken in such a fashion like this in a meeting, but I'm really disappointed. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's unfortunate you would speak to your boss that way, but Khaled, I understand. We've worked together for a long time.
All right, moving on. Item 8A, conduct a public hearing for final plat approval for Florida Days Phase 4, not including the previously approved Phase 5. So I think, yeah, we kind of skipped a phase and now we're coming back, right? So
Yes,
we're going to first hear from the city. So the way this is going to go tonight, we're going to hear from the city. Then we'll hear from the applicant if they have anything they want to add. It is a public hearing. We'll hear from any members of the public that wish to comment on this. And then we'll have closing remarks. The applicant will have a chance to respond to all of that if they would like, as does the city, and then the commission will have questions. So with that, Jeff.
Okay, thank you. For the record, I'm Jeff Gove from the Planning Department. This is the final for today's PUD subdivision. It's a single-family residential subdivision. It's split into 5 phases, 3 of which are already built. Phase 5 came to you in June and was approved separately then. Our application originally had Phase 4 and 5 together. This one was held up a bit during a review by our consulting surveyor because of title opinion issues, and now it's back to you for final approval. The construction plan set that's associated with this has both Phase 5 and 4 together, just for your information. This Phase 4 area is the southernmost area. It's fronting Turnbull Bay Road. It had been added into the PUD after its original establishment as an amendment. It's a 20-acre wooded area, lots of big trees, and they've worked around the trees. They're taking out no historic trees. Consists of 30 lots, and there's a single connection to Turnbull Bay Road, which is a county road. That will be gated, and there's also an interior connection to Phase 3, Florida Days. The typical lot size is, well, the minimum lot size is 65 by 125, so that's 8,125 square feet of lot area. There's a number of lots that exceed that, but that's the minimum that's on the plat. And I don't know if you have any questions. There's not a lot of issues involved in this.
Okay. Any questions of staff? Seeing none. Applicants here, applicant make any presentation they would like.
Good evening. Jerry Finley, Finley Engineering. I'm the engineer for the project. Mike Hickson and Jake Hickson are here with me, and Jeff laid it out pretty well. If you have any questions, we'll try to answer them.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant tonight? Seeing none. All right, stand by. We'll hear from the public, and then we'll go from there. Any members of the public wish to comment on this item? Now is your chance to do so. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. I assume since there was no kind of follow-up, we have no closing comments from the city or the applicant. All right. With that, we will consider this item. Gentlemen, do we have a motion to adopt S-1-21, this final plat approval for Phase 4?
I make that motion to approve, and I do have comments.
Sure. Let's get a second, and then we'll go there.
Second.
All right, discussion, go ahead.
This is a unique subdivision in New Smyrna. It's unfortunate that it's unique because I wish other ones looked like it. They put a lot of effort into a piece of property that is somewhat difficult, and it's turned out very well. And I'm sure the next sections will also. They placed a call with me yesterday to ask if I had any concerns. I didn't have to call back. I have no concerns. I like the final product. They said to me originally, trust me, and I did, and worked out very well.
Okay. Any other remarks? Go, Vice Mayor.
Gentlemen, keep up the good work. Always proud to approve your projects.
Yeah, I mean, I hear one complaint continuously about your development. People that can't afford to live in there. People that want to be in there, they just either they can't afford it or they don't have a spot. They're all sold out. So, honor to have you working the community. So, we had a motion, we had a second. If no other discussion, City Clerk, if you call the roll.
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Colodi?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes,
Thank you.
been approved. Thank you all. All right, next item, 8B, the Flagler Avenue Special Parking District. Oh, sure, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you, and we go through the process and all, but we'll make sure it reflects New Smyrna well.
We know you will.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item 8B, ordinance 5322. City Attorney, read this second time by title only.
Ordinance number 5322, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the land development regulations, amending Article 6, Development Design and Improvement Standards, Section 60409I, Special Parking District Regulations, to expand the Flagler Avenue Special Parking District, providing for codification, providing for public hearings, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
So you and I chatted earlier, and I thought you were talking about a different item that is under first reading.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're on that one too, all right. So he's here filling in for someone that is out sick tonight, so hopefully, if he doesn't have the answer, it's not his fault. It came in late on him, so.
I think I'm pretty
all right,
well
with
enough
that-
versed on this to get us through this meeting.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a request to expand the Flagler Avenue Special Parking District. The original case was just for the 0.19 acre lot at 214. It is since expanded to the Coronado Community United Methodist Church lot, which is a 0.94 acre lot, which is at the northeast corner of Columbus and Peninsula. So basically combined, you're looking at 1.13 acres. Basically the major benefit of being in the special parking district, instead of having a 10 by 20 parking space, you have a 9 by 18. So it's not a huge difference, but say you have 100 feet of frontage, you get 11 spaces instead of 10. It's not a ton, but it definitely is beneficial. Staff does recommend both of these properties being included into the Flagler Avenue Special Parking District. Do you have any questions for me?
Okay, any questions for staff on their presentation? Seeing none, thank you. It's a public hearing. We'll hear from the public. Any members of the public here for this item?
And technically, the city is not the applicant on this, it's actually,
Gotcha.
Jake, sorry, while you're there, was this advertised as 212 and 214, or?
it was initially advertised as the 0.19 acre lot, and then I believe it was added onto.
So
at
the way it's advertised, it's a title that's advertised. The title did not change between first and second reading, so it was advertised properly.
All right, thank you, Jake. Yes, sir.
The question is, as we expand the Flagler Avenue parking district, how far are we gonna go? Are we gonna go into next street over? Are we gonna go further on? When is this gonna stop? I know that Flagler wants to have more parking for the business, and I understand that. One thing I realize is that the city has done a really not a great job delineating private property and city property. What do I mean by that? My house, for example, when I bought it, I thought I owned the property up to the sidewalk. No, I don't own that. That's you guys. You own 5 more feet into the property there from the sidewalk. Now, if you move north on Cooper, there's no sidewalk there. People can park there if they want to. They don't know they can't park there. So the city has not done a good job, in my opinion, on the side streets to open up the parking where it's available. You increase more and more in Flagler. You took down 2 houses. Why? What's that for? Because you want to increase parking? 10 more spaces? Make it different like that? Seriously, 10 more spaces? I mean, if you pave the Coronado parking area that's been dirt for God knows how long there, you create more parking in there and available to park in lines instead of being all over the place. So there are ways you can improve things on Flagler besides that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wish to comment on this item? All right, seeing none, we're going to close the public hearing. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Let's see. All right, so that's done. Any other follow-up discussion, questions from the commission for staff? If not, do I have a motion on ordinance 5322?
Move to approve.
A second.
Second.
All right. If no further discussion, City Clerk?
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks?
No.
Commissioner Colodi?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. 5322 is adopted. Next one, 5422, revise the charges for household commercial solid waste. City Attorney, read this a second time by title only.
Ordinance number 5422, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending ordinance number 6317 to revise user charges for the collection of garbage and household trash, yard trash, and household receptacles, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
All right. David, how are you, sir?
Very good. How are you?
Good. Good to see you.
So what you have before you, this was brought initially to your attention for the during the July budget presentation. What this is an 11.75% increase for the residential and commercial solid waste. For the residents, it would essentially take the cost from $21.14 a month to $23.62 a month for solid waste.
Okay.
And I can answer.
So this is the one we had the spreadsheet. We looked at a lot of different options of where we could go. We saw how we were running negative right now. So basically we're subsidizing out of general fund versus it being a true user fee, which it should be. The 11.75, I think, brings us back to neutral or slightly positive, which
slightly positive.
So the fund can kind of float along as it is. But then the important thing, I think, is that the CPI, so it doesn't, we're looking at adding the CPI so that we don't get back into this really negative state. So again, these, folks can come and complain to us, and we're going to turn around and say, listen, that we're a pass-through entity on a lot of these things. The charge is what the charge is. We negotiate, we do RFPs, but cost of doing business is going up. So public hearings. Thank you, David. Does any members of the public have any comments on this item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Forgot my water bottle. All right, any questions of staff on this item? Questions, comments? Vice Mayor, do you have one? Do I have a motion to adopt 5422?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second?
Comment.
Go ahead.
Once again, it's going to have an impact on our budget. And more importantly, it's going to have an impact on those who pay their fees, which they have no choice in. So when we speak of the budget, it's not just the budget that's going to cause the millage rate to go up. It's all the other fees that people use. And I'll leave that discussion till tomorrow.
Okay. All right. And a motion and a second. City Clerk, if you'd call the roll, please.
Commissioner Colodi?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ordinance 5422 is adopted. All right, next three items are a standard annexation over on Bolton Road, 2 second readings and a public hearing. City Attorney, you have
I'll
to
read
read
all
these.
three.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ordinance number 5522, an ordinance annexing into the city of New Smyrna Beach, .27 plus or minus acres of property located on the west side of Bolton Road between Pine Island Drive and Live Oak Drive, providing for redefining boundaries of the city, designating the property within Commission Zone 4, providing for public hearing, provided for required filings, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Ordinance number 5622, an ordinance of the city of New Smyrna Beach amending the comprehensive plan, changing the future land use designation of .27 plus or minus acres of land located on the west side of Bolton Road between Pine Island Drive and Live Oak Drive from Volusia County urban low intensity to city low density residential, providing for amendment of the associated comprehensive plan maps to show the area incorporated into the city, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date. Ordinance number 5722, an ordinance of the city of New Smyrna Beach rezoning .27 plus or minus acres of property located on the west side of Bolton Road between Pine Island Drive and Live Oak Drive from Volusia County R1A urban single-family residential airport overlay to city R1 COA urban single-family residential airport overlay zoning district, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
All right. So anything to call out on this one, or just standard annexation?
Standard annexation, 0.27 acres. It will probably have a house on it someday, and that's about it.
All right. So public hearing, any members of the public wish to comment on any of these three ordinances, 55, 56, 57? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment section. Do I have a motion to approve ordinance 5522?
Move to approve.
Second the motion.
City Clerk?
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Colodi?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve 5622?
Move to approve.
And I'll second.
All right, City Clerk?
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Colodi?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
And a motion to approve 5722?
Move to approve.
Second.
City Clerk?
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Colodi?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, 55, 56, 57 are approved. That property's been annexed. Thank you. And next, that's the only one, right? Yep. Okay, next we have ordinances first reading. Carrie?
Ordinance number 5822, an ordinance amending the legal description of ordinance number 2720, which annexed 1.1 acres of property located on the north side of Pioneer Trail, west of Sugar Mill Drive and east of Clubhouse Boulevard, addressed as 2835 Pioneer Trail into the city of New Smyrna Beach, providing for conflicting ordinances and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be September 27, 2022. Ordinance number 5922, an ordinance amending the legal description of ordinance number 2920, which rezoned 1.1 acres of property addressed as 2835 Pioneer Trail from Volusia County zoning to city A3A transitional agriculture airport overlay, providing for conflicting ordinances and providing an effective date.
Carrie, real quick before you go, shouldn't we have three like we just had?
No, actually, the comprehensive plan doesn't incorporate the legal description. It just
Okay.
changes all the maps, so that one
I got
didn't
you.
need to be
So you don't have
amended.
to do that. So that's what 60 is. It just doesn't require for, okay, got it.
Second reading, public hearing will be September 27, 2022. Ordinance number 6122, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach terminating the city's parking lease program and grandfathering certain addresses as conforming as to parking until a replacement lease parking program is established, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be September 27, 2022.
Okay, all those are just first readings, so debate and discussion will be at the second reading generally. Next item, boards and commissions, Housing Authority, reappointment of 2 members serving 4-year terms. City Clerk, go ahead.
Yes, the city clerk's office had advertised this board vacancy. We did not receive any applications. I did speak with the executive director for the Housing Authority, Teresa Pope, and she understood that Ms. Regis Sloan has served 3 terms. The commission had waived the last term, which commission is allowed to do. She highly recommended Regis Sloan to serve a 4th term, if so approved and accepted by the city commission. Mr. Miller has served 1 term, and he is our resident commissioner on that board. And so city clerk's office recommends reappointing both individuals that currently serve on the board.
So to clarify, we did advertise and we had no applicants.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to reappoint Grover Miller to a second 4-year term and Regis Sloan to a 4th 4-year term, which is acknowledging an exceedance of the term limits?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? If none, City Clerk?
Commissioner Clody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 10B, Utilities Commission, reappointment of 2 members to serve 3-year terms. City Clerk?
This position was also advertised, as all of them are, but these, the Utilities Commission, per our city charter, have 3 terms. This is the only board that we have that has 3 terms. Both of the people serving on the board, Ms. Conrad has just completed serving her 1st term, Mr. Davenport his 2nd. So the city clerk does recommend reappointing both individuals to serve their next term.
Okay.
Motion to reappoint Mrs. Conrad and Mr. Davenport.
Second.
All right, City Clerk, I have a motion and a second. Go ahead.
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Clody?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you to Buddy and Lillian and Regis and Mr. Miller for their willingness to serve. All right, with that, we're down to mayor and commission reports. We'll begin down there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have 2 things, one of which I think will be spoken about in more detail by the city manager. But I did receive a phone call regarding a grant application we made to improve our dockage and our boat ramps. It's a very extensive application. We budgeted the money in it for the 1st year, and we're approved. Living over in that area there, I always think back to the fact that the waterway and its use is the root of why New Smyrna is here. And we've been losing some of it along the way. I'm glad to see that this grant application was approved by the commission and the mayor in particular, and that it's been approved. It's very extensive, and it will bring a first-rate facility to what used to be our sewer plant. So, talk about an improvement into the environment and area, this is it. Second thing, at the last meeting, I kind of got involved with a comment regarding the business association, FABA Business Association, and the fact that I worked very hard with them for 2.5, 3 years when they were in my zone. And I was a little frustrated that the work that had been done, I felt that they they weren't as cooperative and they weren't as forthcoming as they could have been. When I first came here, we had a parking study that had been done about 10 years ago. We improved, I asked for and the commission approved that we look back at that parking study. And it revealed any number of things, one of which was on the individual properties, there was over 400 parking spaces that were not in use. You can go down, and I'm not picking on anyone in particular, but you can go down Flagler, you pass Peninsula, on the left is a office building that has a parking lot behind it that can handle 12, 15 cars or something like that. It's always empty, whether we're having events or we're not having events. I would love to have worked out a deal and a method where we could have the public utilize those properties. I know there's insurance questions and other questions, but I didn't find them the most forthcoming. And one thing I'm going to say is I occasionally get accused in writing or in person that I'm a little too blunt with what my comments are. My comments are based on my feelings as to what's the best for this town and the way we should go forward. And if that offends some people, so be it. They can contact me and I'll go over with them in person. This parking study that I referred to had been done 10 years earlier. It's 15 years. We haven't implemented any of those original comments that were in it. We haven't worked on anything over there. Now we're talking about, one of our items is we're abandoning what little attempt we made to improve the parking situation. It has to be a full public and commission partnership. If I'm up here, and I might not be, I don't like to be yes to death by any group, whether it be a residential group or a business group. I want to work with these people. I want it done. I attended meetings of the FABA Association, monthly meetings for quite a while. Very cordial, worked fine. Nothing came of it. Basically what I'm saying is I'm not going to change my attitude. I'm for the betterment of our community in whole, and if some individual groups get upset with it, so be it. But I'm going to keep working for the betterment of the city. Thank you for allowing me to comment.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sachs, your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing tonight.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Real quick, this is actually Chief, great job at bringing in some new, I wouldn't want to say recruits, or not recruits, new police officers. Went to the swearing-in ceremony. And when I went, it just reminded me, I hate missing the ones that I have, and it seemed like you got a great group of new police officers coming in. Keep it up. Really looks, the parents, it's always great to see how proud the parents are and watching them pin the badge on, their children. It is it's emotional, and it is, it is something to see for sure. The intersection of West Canal and Myrtle, there's a sandwich board pedestrian stop sign. I travel that intersection every morning. We have a number of drivers who clearly think that that's a stop sign for them, and it's creating a four-way stop sign. And when some of your finest are around, they really make sure, if they're not sure it's a stop sign, they at least make sure they stop. So it seems to confuse people. I don't know if there's anything we can do to keep that flowing better so they don't think it's a stop sign unless there's a pedestrian wanting to cross in the crosswalk. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Every morning I drive that intersection and I'm like, come on. We're backed up 4, 5, 6 cars deep because they're stopping. Then the other people know that it's not a 4-way stop. Everybody's kind of looking at each other. Now, it does wonders for slowing traffic down for the kids walking to school. I will admit that. And finally, I want to reiterate, I am honored to give those raises that were given today. When I tell you that I have not worked with a finer group of a manager, an attorney, and a clerk, I absolutely mean that. And I want to thank you for being so good at what you do, which helps me do what I do. Thank you. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So, I had a couple of things. One, piggybacking off of Vice Mayor, I again will reiterate, I am beyond impressed. When you look at where things were 4 years ago, and I'm not taking credit for this, I'm just saying that's just when I became aware of where we were, to where we are now. It's not that there's not work to be done. It's all of you that are running for office. There's still work to be done. Fred, there's still stuff to get done. But boy, the progress that we've made. City clerk's office, city attorney's office, city manager's office. I think in every regard, and in 2 cases, they weren't in the offices at the time. Carrie, I think you were relatively new to that office. I don't know that I even had a full appreciation for how new you were at the time to that office. Not new to being an attorney by any stretch, but new to taking on the responsibilities here in New Smyrna. But when I reflect back to then versus now, I hope you all feel the same, but I feel like we've made a lot of progress. Now, definitely some difficult challenges ahead for the next commission to work on, but I do thank you all. I think everything that we just did is deserved. There is no perfect way to go about those things, and it's made who in here would want to have their salary had to be talked about and debated and discussed, right out here in the public? Nobody would want to do that. I don't. So, I appreciate the tough spot that you all are in, that we're in, but I think it's the right thing to do. The other thing that I wanted to say is just a reminder for tomorrow's meeting that I will be, I'm scheduled to speak kind of right at 5, which is when that meeting is scheduled. I thought we were going to book it at like 6 or 6:30. My mistake, not yours. I just was thinking it was going to be tomorrow like 6 or 6:30, so I agreed to the speaking engagement. So it sounds like you might be a little late as well, so I'll defer to staff of how we handle it, because at that point we don't even have a quorum if at least one of us isn't here. So whenever Vice Mayor gets here, we can start, and then I'll be here just as soon as I can, and plenty of time for the business at hand. The last thing I was going to say, speaking of the mayor-elect, I've clarified with city attorney. I do intend on working closely with Fred, bringing him behind the curtain on many things, meeting with staff, meeting with people in the community. I have clarified with city attorney, since he and I will never sit on this dais together and vote on anything, that's perfectly allowable and legal to do. So not that anything we'll be doing is not, it's city business, but we don't have to conduct all of that sitting right here behind the podium. So look forward to working with him on that regard so that he can sit up here and hit the ground running just as quickly as possible. That being said, it's more just about mechanics. This isn't going to be, I'm still voting until the day I'm not in office, and then he takes over, and that's on his head, and what I do while I'm here is on my head. But I certainly want to make sure anything mechanically that we can do, lessons learned, et cetera, that we can pass it along. So that was all that I had to share with you all. City manager report.
Just a couple of things. We have received the other half of the ARPA funds. Also, as Commissioner Colodi mentioned, 2 fund grants that we have for the AOB site and also the police boats. They were both approved, so now we're going through the contracts with, I would expect that probably to happen sometime in October, November. The other thing is I just want to thank the commission for their support, and believe me, I've been here for 33 years. I have never ever asked for a penny. Money don't mean anything to me. I think the words of support, means a whole lot than the $185,000. I work hard, and especially for some commissioner And that's what really kind of triggered me to say what I said. And so I apologize for that, but it really bothered me because the money means nothing to me. So thank you very much.
City Clerk's report.
No report, just thank you for your support.
Thank you. City Attorney report.
Same, I really appreciate the support and acknowledgement of working hard, and it means a lot to me to see that you guys see it.
100%. Well, we see it when we drag you in on vacation. We see it when we Colin calls us all times, night and day. Kelly's always there to go above and beyond. So thank you all. Meeting adjourned.